Ukraine needs to concentrate to move forward and to keep the initiative?
I mean, one of the delights about this is, okay, I needed to write about Russian theory of war because I didn't think enough people understand it, and sadly enough people in the West didn't understand it, and I say this with huge respect. Sometimes enough people in Ukraine didn't understand it as well. And I think one of the great tricks that Putin pulled was to fool the world and fool Ukraine into it wasn't at war. There's something called in Western military theory called center of gravity. And it's when you analyze your enemy and you say, what's the one thing that I need to attack to throw my enemy off balance? And people are so tempted to come up with there's 5 things, there's 3 things, there's 7 things, and you just end up with a list. But center of gravity, it forces you to come up with one thing. And the one thing that is absolutely critical is integration. It's to be more than the sum of its parts. Everyone thinks that Russian warfare is about information because journalists write about it because they see it and they have a natural grasp of information and disinformation, and everyone sees that. So information is absolutely critical to this form of warfare because fundamentally, even on the battlefield, Putin's war is about the war in your mind. But if you want to undo and if you want to weaken Russia's ability to conduct warfare, you attack its center of gravity. And again, I think nobody in the West understands this. Its center of gravity is its integration. That all these things combined are trying to be efficient, because Russia is much poorer than it used to be, but it wants to be a superpower. It wants to compete with the United States, with NATO, with China, but it just hasn't got the resources. So it needs a very, very efficient form of warfare. And by combining everything, you get synergy. So that's one of the characteristics of war that I explore, synergy, because it becomes greater than the sum of its parts. So if you want to weaken Russia, you don't just defeat it on the battlefield, you don't just do information war, you try to unpick the integration. And once you do that, you will find it easier to defeat it on individual bits. When it comes back to, one of the things I love doing actually was understanding the Ukrainian way of war, because the Ukrainian